Well, next we've got a way to spruce up your look for the spring in a way that's creative and fun. From architecture to glass blowing, Lisa Inglert is a local glass bead artisan, and she is creating jewelry for people around the world. And Allie took a trip to her home studio to see how it's made.
It's hard to describe yourself when you are a glass bead jewelry artist. When I do an art show, people will say at some point, "Oh, you make the beads." You know, I'll have the photograph of me at the torch, and I'll explain, and I make the glass beads. And then at some point during the conversation, they realize, "Oh, you make them." Because we're so used to seeing jewelry artists who put things together that the people who actually make their components are a rare bird.
Which then classifies Lisa as one of those rare birds. For the last 13 years, she's been developing her glass blowing skills and selling her handcrafted jewelry in art shows and online via the website Etsy. Lisa has crafted over 15 different collections and has sold to people in 5 out of the 7 continents. She's also traveled the world and has had an extensive career in architecture, which helps fuel her creative inspiration.
So working with interior designers, I had these incredibly talented friends and colleagues who would say, "You know, light blue and Chinese red." Yes, to this day, one of my favorite colors. Or the triads, the purples, greens, and topaz tones. Or the mid-century modern, your orange, lime, and turquoise.
Yes. Lisa has hundreds of glass colors stored away in her home studio. And some beads can take as quickly as 1 minute to make, and others 30 to 45 minutes. It's truly a science.
Dale Chihuly has a quote that says it best: "Glass is the most magical of materials." And it feels like magic, but it is the magic of the natural world. It's bounded by physics and chemistry. So when you work with the glass, it physically melts at a certain point, and gravity pulls it down, and chemistry determines its colors. And somewhere within there, the artist can channel beauty. And then this is also nice for preheating the glass, especially with touchy colors like this. When you're a kid, you want to grow up and do something meaningful. And as an architect, you know, that's very meaningful. I never realized that something like jewelry could be so meaningful, that I touch people's lives. I bring happiness to their lives. I create good memories. They buy my art when something special has happened for them and they want to treat themselves. And then my jewelry becomes this wonderful, playful reminder of that special thing in their life. And as they communicate to me and reach out to me to say, "Hey, I wore your jewelry, and 5 total strangers stopped me on the street to look at my bubble necklace." It's just really gratifying to be able to touch people's lives.
Wow, and now I want to welcome back to the conversation Allie. So Allie, what was it like seeing the artist work with glass?
Well, you know, first and foremost, being a part of COVID right now, I think I have more fascination and more appreciation of going into people's home studios. So kind of right off the bat, I love just walking into her 3rd floor space up in the attic and seeing how everything was organized, because she's really just transformed that space into her own. But when it comes to actually hand blowing the glass and the art behind it, you know, you see videos of it and you see some of those big, luxurious pieces, but I've never seen it in person. And she classified it as happy jewelry, and I will very much say that that is true. She also compared it to watching it come to life. She also compared it to, if you were to think of COVID or back in 2008 during the Depression, that painters as an artist had a very hard time selling their pieces, but the jewelry themselves were almost like a cup of coffee in the Depression, and it's a small luxury. And that was very cool to see, because it very much felt that way watching her create it, and the attention to detail and the hundreds of colors that she had to work with, that when you see one of those small pieces, especially some of the earrings that she makes, if you see any sort of a gradient in the glass itself color-wise, those are all different colors. You could have 10 different colors in one piece of jewelry, which really kind of encompasses that small piece of luxury, so to speak.
All right, Allie, so what did you find the most interesting?
What I find the most interesting is the way that she's able to connect with people who find her jewelry. So she also has a gallery out in Hyde Park, so she has her small following there, but the ability to connect with people around the world with Etsy, I think, is really, really interesting, because the digital world has opened up the playing field for artists like Lisa. Now, when she finds someone, let's say over in Paris, that she's working with, that person in Paris could say, hey, I love the inspiration and the look of this piece, but can we tweak it and customize it a little bit? And she's able to say yes. And by the way, working with a website like Etsy, it translates for you, which I think is very cool. And she's able to customize and connect with people all around the globe. So I think that was probably the most interesting piece that I learned while talking with Lisa, and that network continues to open up, and she's creating this small following all via her pieces of jewelry, her happy jewelry, so to speak. So don't forget, if you want to check her out as well, go to lisainglertjewelry.com. You'll be able to see all of her work there, and if you want to purchase it, it'll take you to the Etsy site directly.
All right. Allie, sounds great. Thank you so much. Great story as always.